Aren't you going to say goodbye to Mommy?
Gotta pee.
Thanks, Mom. I mean, you agreeing to take him on such short notice is really Thanks. Okay. Bye.
You ready for bed?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Joshua, honey. Sit up. Here's your water. Joshua,
What?
how did you get that?
Nowhere. I fell at school.
Where'd you get that?
Nowhere. I already said.
Joshua, did your mother do this to you? Answer me now! Okay. Let's move on to a bedtime story, okay? This is a very special story. It's one I didn't even tell your mommy when she was growing up.
Please just tell it.
Okay. This is a story called The Pillowman. Once upon a time, there was a man who, at first glance, looked like most other men. He always wore a light pink suit like cotton candy, with brown shoes and white gloves. He was the gentlest soul in all the land, but his face was severely deformed. If he were in any other business, his face would not matter, for his soul was so pure. But he was in a business where his looks were very important.
What was his job?
Shh. Let the story happen as it happens. It will all make sense in time. Pillowman would wear a pillow cover over his disfigured face, hence his name. Whenever a man or lady was very sad because they'd had a dreadful and hard life and they just wanted to end it all, they just wanted to take their own lives and take all the pain away. Just as they were about to do it, by razor or bullet or gas, the Pillowman would go to them. And sit with them and gently hold them, and he'd say, "Hold on a minute." He would stare at their face and get a good look at them. The Pillowman would go back in time to when that man or lady was just a little boy or girl, to when the life of horror they were to lead hadn't quite begun. And the Pillowman's job was to get that child to kill themselves. In doing so, they would avoid the years of pain that would just end up in the same place for them anyway. But I've never heard of a small child killing themselves, you might say. Well, the Pillowman would always suggest that they do it in a way that would look like a tragic accident. He'd show them the place on the river where the ice was too thin. He'd show them the parked cars that were really dangerous to dart between. He'd show them the bottle of pills that looked just like sweeties. Mommies and daddies always find it easier to come to terms with a 5-year-old who's been lost in a tragic accident than they do with a 5-year-old who's realized how tragic life is and taken action to avoid it. The Pillowman was very good at his job. Very good. The fact of the matter was, as important as his job was, even though the Pillowman was preventing a lot of unhappiness, the man was facilitating the deaths of many, many children. And it made him sad. He cried all day long. Till one day, he decided on one final job. He sat under a weeping willow tree for a while, waiting for his final child. After a while, the Pillowman heard the door open and little footsteps come out, and a little boy promised his mother he wouldn't be late for dinner. And the Pillowman heard the little footsteps get closer, and the two finally saw each other. It was the little pillow boy. And the Pillowman gave the boy some toys to play with as he talked to him. The Pillowman told him about his sad job and the dead children and the gruesome details of his existence. And the little pillow boy understood instantly, because he was such a happy little fellow, and all he ever wanted to do was to be able to help people. So the Pillowman offered the boy a razor. And the Pillowmen looked at each other in deep admiration. "Will you tell my mommy I won't be home tonight?" asked the pillow boy. And the Pillowman said, "Yes, I will," lying. And the pillow boy took one final look at his house and the Pillowman, and he slit his wrist. The last thing he heard were the screams of the 100,000 children that he'd helped commit suicide, come back to life and lead the cold, wretched lives that were destined to them. And as he died, he listened to the screams of their sad, self-inflicted deaths, which this time were conducted entirely alone.